Looks like we got a new friend!
Oh, hi everyone, and welcome to the Scratticus Academy. It is Monday again. Yeah, it's Monday again. So we are back in the world of Dunera. We are going to hop around very quickly just to say hi to all these lovely people here before we begin. So, first of all, let's start off with Jagon's Gold or Paula.
Hi, I'm Jagon's Gold, but tonight you can call me Paula. Yeah, that's me. You can find me at Jagon's Gold. And I'm very, very, very excited to be here tonight. Like, hype all week.
It's good to be back already, even though we've only had one session. But and that we'll hop down and we'll say hello to Tool School. Hello, Tool School.
Hi, everybody. I am Tall Squall, and tonight I'll be playing Tolan Falk again, and our resident curmudgeon. And because, that's just my general role in the community, right? So I am so looking forward to this. I enjoyed hanging out with folks who tuned in with us on Friday night, and I'm looking forward to hanging out again with everybody.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for those of you who came on Friday night. It was just so fun. Also, I want to say thank you to Kentucky Hawkeye for the sub and gifting a reroll to Tool School. So perfect. Other than that, we're going to hop over to the crafting muse, or V.
Hello, everyone. I am super thrilled to keep going with this journey. It is such a lovely, magical place, and I loved the discussions everyone was having in the chat last time around, and I can't wait to see literally where we're going to go and what we're going to explore tonight, because it's such a wonderful feeling, and it's like, as Squall just said in the chat before we started, it's like coming home. It really is. I can't wait. So, yay!
And who are you playing today?
Oh, that's right. I'm playing Nadi. And she is this little bit of a space cadet, so to speak, but she actually notices more than you might think. And she has this lovely little silver otter familiar named Prema.
Awesome. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Julie.
Hello, I'm Julie. I go by Grave Art just about everywhere on socials. And tonight I'm playing as Charlie, who is also a magic user like Nadi, with a little familiar. His name's Al. He's a little seahorse. And yeah, we're all week. Ever since last week, we're just like, when can we go back? So it's just like, it's one of those special ones. I'm super excited to see where we go tonight.
I'm glad. And hashtag Brew and Bindings, because
yes,
it's the coziest coffee shop there is. Last week, we got introduced to not only the world, but these lovely characters within them. We got to experience a little bit of the feel of the city with its waterways, its academy, its coffee shops, its dance studio run by Paula, and also I say plant shop, but it was sort of overgrown by the city itself, as you will discover a lot of it is. And we ended up all in this cozy coffee shop called Brew and Bindings, which is run by Averick and his familiar. And something strange happened, something Tolan noticed. And it was a dark figure that walked past and paused for a moment, looking not too sure whether it was an individual at the group or just passing by and stopping. But as this person did, the plants began to shrivel up and they died. And the magic, the power in the lines of the trams cut out and disappeared as Charlie narrowly escaped a falling one as she stood outside the shop. And in the evening, once it was time to go home, Nadi, Charlie, and Paula decided to go back to Paula's house and stay. And Tolan went back to his own. Not that anyone was in high spirits, but he was definitely not in high spirits. And we'll start with Nadi, Charlie, and Paula. And you all you can feel yourselves waking up gradually as like there's like a warm sort of sun sort of coming through the blinds. And Paula, where would everyone have slept?
So right now we're at Paula and Mom's apartment, which is very small. You guys probably both slept in my room. There's a space by the window, kind of like a bay window type situation. One of you probably curled up in a ball on there, and then there's enough space on the floor for someone else. But that's pretty much it. Like there's a dresser, and there's lots of like little knickknacks, and it's cute, you know, like pretty well decorated, lots of frilly things. Paula likes lace and like doilies and that kind of thing. So it kind of looks like an old woman's house, to be honest, but it's cozy. Lots of pillows too. There's pillows everywhere.
And you can all start to come around. As I said, whoever's in the bay window, you'll probably feel that warmth of the morning sun first, and you'll hear the sort of as life starts to wake up in this city. And you can hear birds, you can hear chattering, you can hear market stalls being opened, and the boat setting off for the day. But all three of you also hear a little bit of movement in the door beyond the bedroom, which is the kitchen, as Paula would know. And you hear a lot of shuffling around, sort of as if someone's trying to be quiet. But very soon after that, you do hear a crash of a pan that strikes the floor. And Paula, you hear your mother's voice, just like, Felonious, come on! Like, and you can hear her trying to scoop up whatever has been dropped as you wake up.
Paula's gonna like scurry out of bed as fast as possible to get out before Nadir or Charlie, and she'll peek her head out the door, be like, Mom, control Felonious.
And
we have guests.
You're met with this. You're met with your mother holding Felonious as if they've sort of had a bit of a square off, and you can see a pan of what looks like upturned eggs on the floor, and some of the herbs that your mother's been growing along the side of the counter have also looked like they've been shredded a little bit. What does Felonious look like to you, Paula?
So Felonious is a Devon Rex. He has lots of skin and patchy fur. And at a quick glance, he kind of looks like a rat. And most people are a little bit frightened by him at first. But if you look at him for more than 5 seconds, he's actually really cute. So, yeah. But he always looks like he's angry, even when he's not angry.
And you do see this grumpy sort of like face of this cat turn towards you, and your mother meets you exactly almost in perfect time as they look over. She's like, I'm so sorry, I was just trying to make eggs for everyone, and then glares briefly back at Felonious, is like, I'll keep him quiet, and sort of just starts to take him over to the other side of the kitchen.
And with that, I'll like close the door to see if anyone, and like turn back around and look back at the room, see if anyone woke up, if anyone seems to have stirred.
Oh, Naughty would absolutely kind of just be lying there on the floor with Prema kind of acting as pillow and just looking up at you, kind of like, oh, good morning.
Good morning, Nadi. How are you doing?
Oh, very good. I slept very well. Thank you for letting me stay here last night.
Oh, no, it was no problem. We love having guests. So
you can tell. You are the hostess with mostess, right?
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, our apartment doesn't have a lot of space, so I was a little concerned that you'd feel a little claustrophobic sleeping on the floor, but...
Oh, no, it's not about space of the place. It's about the love that's filled inside in this lovely place.
Oh, thanks. You know, all these knickknacks I've just collected over the years, so it's you know, nothing special, but it's home.
Well, if you like them, they must be special.
Yeah. No, that's really sweet. It's really sweet, Nadi. Hey, Charlie, are you up?
Charlie's been awake for like a while. She didn't like sleep super well, and it's not because of the place, but because she's in like a new place, and it's like I'm like this where I cannot sleep like very well the first night I'm anywhere new. But yeah, so she's been awake for probably since the sun like started coming up, and was just kind of like looking out the window, and it's just been like observing this whole thing.
If you look out the window, you will have seen the view from Paula's apartment is quite high up, but you can see the waterways, you can see them starting to buzz, and some of the boats starting to sort of fall into motion. And you see a lot of shops, more coffee shops, more bars and restaurants and things like that, the cobbled streets sort of winding around, and you can see the season tree further in the distance, and beyond that the academy that towers up. And to the left, just in the distance, you see one of the places of worship, but they seem to be quite far away. But the academy, you can see the sun come up from behind it as it did, and you see people start to leak out into the streets. And as the day goes on, you see these people move about. You see a lot of familiars beside their other halves. You can see shops being opened. Some of the familiars seem to be helping, some seem to be hindering, but it's going about their day. And there is another crash from the kitchen, and you're pretty sure your mum curses something, but it's not quite audible as you hear a screech from this cat as it's probably being pulled away from whatever it's doing.
Felonious. He's probably all riled up since we have so many people in the house. I mean, I don't mean to hurry you guys out, and but if it's riling up Felonious, it might not be a good idea to hang around here too much longer.
Does he do better if you meet him?
You could try, but a word of caution, he likes to play a lot, like very aggressively, so calm hands.
Calm hands. Okay, makes sense. And as Nadi's talking with Paula, Prema would actually be kind of like peeking under the door and just sort of like chittering back, hearing noises out there. So she looked down at, he tends to like to try and say hello to other animals simply, you know. He thinks they're all friends until they prove otherwise, but maybe it might get them to calm down.
Yeah, no, it's worth a shot, you know. Worst case scenario, we just dip. So, yeah, no, after you. Lead the way.
Okay. And she'd be turning around, and Prema, hearing the go ahead, he's already like scritching up at the door, and he's able to manipulate the door open, and he's gonna walk out on two legs, not crawl, and just sort of like puff his chest out and kind of like walking, and he's doing his little chittering again as he's looking for this mysterious cat.
Yeah, as the door swings open, the rest of you are met with this sight where you can see Paula's mum bent over, sort of scraping this egg off the floor, and Felonious looking very happy with himself up on the counter, like tail swishing. But you can see his head turn and eyes widen as Prima sort of waltzes out of this bedroom, and his ears sort of shoot back slightly, not aggressively, just probably out of curiosity more than anything. And she's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm just tidying up. I was gonna make eggs, but then I didn't know if you liked eggs, and then it doesn't matter anyway because," and she sort of gestures towards the cat. And "I'll leave you to it. Paula, I'm just gonna," yeah, and she quickly scoops up the last of this egg and just throws it in the sink and leaves back to what you know is her own bedroom.
Oh, don't mind my mom. She's just, she's quirky. You know, she's kind of weird sometimes, but it's a little embarrassing that I still live with my mom, you know. It's I'm trying to move out sometime soon. But.
She's lovely. It's very nice you get to live with her.
Oh, thanks, you know. I mean, it's all right. It's all right. But breakfast, we should have breakfast. That should be a priority because that's how you host. When you have people over, you make food for them, you lay it out nicely. I got this. And Paula will like attempt to cook something.
There are eggs left.
Mm-hmm.
As much as you can see a lot of shells also in the sink. Your mum doesn't tend to cook that often, but there are eggs set aside, as well as sort of bacon and muffins. And this is odd because these weren't here last night. You're pretty sure your mum has gone out and bought these.
Oh, okay. All right. Bacon. This should be easy. I've seen it done before. Well, first I got to open up the package and you see just Paula is like, she has no idea what she's doing. She has no clue.
I'd like to just kind of reach over and just gently turn down the heat on this stove to just like a reasonable temperature and just be like, how about I do this part and you can start doing X?
That sounds great. Teamwork.
You hear the few clicks as the magic in this sort of the energy within like the hobs sort of flare up, and they sort of tweak lots of different colors before settling on a green, a very hot green. And Charlie, you can find some pans. There seems to be about 3 in the sink already used, though you're not too sure why or what on. But you can see what looks to be like 1 left on the side.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just look around for, I imagine there's like butter or similar, like just already out that I'll grab a bit of and get that going. Kind of peer over to this cat, not knowing when he's going to like interfere and how exactly.
You notice he hasn't moved any closer. He's still sat on this sort of on the side, but he is watching you intently. And in particular, Al, as Al sort of clings to you, I'm assuming, is sort of clinging to you in some way. And he's sort of like Felonius has narrowed his eyes, but again, not out of aggression, out of curiosity.
I'm gonna just kind of whisper to Al, just be like, maybe get up high.
And just as you say that, it sort of comes round from one shoulder over to the other before curling up around the top rim of your glasses as you do this.
Brema would totally be copying Felonius, like motion for motion, being like, well, you do, I'll do. Maybe that's how we can communicate. Because, you know, he likes animals. He just doesn't get that animals may not like him all the time.
So is Prima like right up by Felonius?
Or... he's probably given like about 3 feet, but he's definitely like, you know, he'll see Polonius put his ear back and he'll like kind of like scrunch his head down a little bit because he doesn't have ears, but to kind of make it look like he put his ears back too.
And both Nadie and Polo, you'll see Felonius again just sort of reach out a paw and not swipe, but sort of pad, and sort of realizing when they go through, Prima doesn't like it and sort of turns around and curls up and sits on the edge of the counter.
Polonius, you know you're not supposed to be on the counter. I've told you a million times. And I'm like pointing at the ground. Down, ground.
He just sort of raises his head, looks at you, and then curls back up.
And then I pick Felonius up and and place him back down on the
Yeah,
floor.
you hear like a grumble as there's like that little thud as you sort of drop him on the floor, and as he sort of walks over to your mother's bedroom and starts pouring at the door.
I like shout for my mom. Mom, I told you I need help with Felonius.
Yeah, it's like, yes, sorry. And the door opens and you hear just like, get in here. Like as this alarm comes out and sort of drags this cat in and closes the door again.
And sorry about the mess too, guys. We weren't expecting guests. And the kitchen is like covered in takeout boxes, like just takeout boxes everywhere. And like in the trash, just filled with takeout boxes. That's it's covering everything.
There's really no need to apologize. You let us stay here after last night. I mean, that was very kind of you.
Well, honestly, I wanted you guys to stay with me more than you probably even felt the need to. I was freaking scared. That was terrifying.
Trust me, I did not want to go back to dark, empty house by myself and only Prema. It's not something that sat well. So I completely understand, and I very much appreciate that you let us have little spots in your room to sleep last night. I felt much safer.
I'm glad it helped you. Do you live around here, or in like another part of the city?
Well, another part of the city, over more where the sailors all tend to be when, because it's easier for them to be closer to the shoreline. So when they have to go, it's just a few blocks away. So we're not on shoreline. We don't live on the coast or the beach, but maybe about a 10-minute walk tops.
Well, that must be nice. We don't really go to the ocean very often. Just busy all the time. You know how it is.
Neither do I. Prefer the rivers.
Oh, yeah, no, the rivers, I mean, I use those every day, but.
Yes, they're nice. They're predictable. The ocean, not as much.
100%. I can relate to that. Let me tell you. I like it when I know exactly what to expect. Very much unlike last night. Very unexpected. How are you holding up, Charlie, after your incident? That you probably had the worst of it.
Well, I don't know. I tend to try not to think too hard about it, but I'm fine.
I mean, you almost got crushed by
over more of breakfast. I'm just like, while friends are talking, just like, okay, I'm gonna take this now, and just like making it all in one pan.
Paula's probably already sat down, like when she saw that you guys started taking over. Like the second she got the chance to kind of not be near the stove, she moved away. Are you sure, Charlie? That was pretty intense. No one would blame you if you were a little shaken up. We're not here to judge.
I mean, sure, it was a surprise, but I don't see the point in really worrying about it. I'm not going to take a tram for a while.
Very logical.
But, no, I'm more worried about, like, what caused it. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, makes me curious, but I don't want to get involved. This is something that the higher ups at the university would normally handle. I'm sure they've been working on it all night, honestly.
It was very unnerving. That Mr. Sir, though, he seemed to know almost what was happening, like had an idea.
Yeah, that was a little strange, wasn't it? He made me nervous.
You made me worried, especially with how he left.
Yeah. I still don't trust him. I feel like he knew more than I was comfortable with, considering that how mysterious that situation was.
Yes. Although maybe he was trying to protect us and not trying to scare us more so.
Did a bad job, if I'm being honest.
Well, not everyone's good with people.
Yeah, I get that. But yeah, I mean, I guess we can try to check up on him at some point.
I don't really advise it.
I was going to say, I don't think Charlie would want to go back considering how he... Well, he's not subtle, is he?
He doesn't really like guests.
What happened that he doesn't like you? I mean, that was like... He was, focused.
Yeah, you've been so nice and pleasant. I don't understand why he would be so upset.
You got off on wrong boots?
Yeah. I mean, that was the second time we've spoken. But,
That must not have been a very good first then.
no. I mean, it's not all him. I mean, I kind of trespassed. I mean, his store was open, but...
But if store's open, then you're allowed to go in, aren't you? That's the whole point of store being open. You go in, you look at merchandise.
The door was open. I don't think it was open, but I did have cookies for him from a mutual friend. Normally, if he doesn't come to the door, we don't push it. But I didn't know that.
Oh, that makes more sense now.
Still, it seems a little unforgiving considering that you were there to bring him cookies. You had good intention.
Yes. He probably just likes to keep to himself and doesn't say much. He'd like my father. They're very similar.
How old are you, by the way, Nadia? I hope you don't mind me asking.
I'm 23.
23. Gotcha.
Yes.
I just wasn't sure. You have a very youthful personality.
Well, I don't get out much, and I wasn't allowed to do much until recently, so... Delayed teenagehood?
Listen, I feel like I'm still a teenager sometimes, so I don't even know what, and really what does it all even mean? Just live your best life, Nadi.
I hope so. But I think, Charlie, you don't let him get to you. You're very kind, you're very sweet. He'll learn that eventually, if he's not too stubborn. Maybe. Hopefully.
I don't think I have to push it. I mean, if he doesn't want to see me, he doesn't have to.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't. No, I don't think poking the bear is a good idea. But, next time you see, maybe just wave hi, keep going. Kind of, friendly acquaintance, and then let him make first move. It's probably your safest bet, honestly.
I'll consider it. Continue practice.
And Charlie, you can finish making breakfast, and you can all sit together at this point and sit down and eat breakfast together. You hear a little bit of a ruckus, but from the other room, but otherwise it's pretty quiet until you all leave for the day. But we are now going to hop over to Tolan. And as we do, Tolan, it is morning. Just about. And that sun is coming through like that pebbled glass. It doesn't really give you a lot of light, but it's very dappled. It sort of casts itself over the room you're in, and that fire has died right down. Where do we find you?
It's been a long, a long night for Tolan. After returning back and trying to get tea started, he found himself twice with just having heated the kettle, poured out water for tea, and then somehow the next thing he would realize is that he had a cup of cold water and had never managed to get a tea started. And when he would realize it, sort of still just finding himself leaning against the counter, not knowing what had happened to the time, other than just being lost in his thoughts and, having wiped tears off of his cheeks, would start again, almost ritualistically, and this time would try to focus on, okay, boil the water in the cup. And did finally, on the third try, manage to actually get a tea bag into his cup, but then found himself in his chair, looking across the room at the teacup and saucer, the little tea bag in it, still over on the counter. And even though part of his mind wanted to stand up and go get that cup of tea, knew he really needed it, just couldn't quite pull himself out of his chair. And so sat there, just staring across the room as the wee hours of the morning went by. One point he did finally need to get up. He looked around the shop and couldn't say exactly what it was that hit him so hard, but almost like a punch to the gut, grief took him to his knees and just all but curled up on the floor, sobbing again. And then at some point did crawl his way, half stumbling, to his bed, where he just flopped on top of the comforter, still in his jacket and corduroy pants, lace up, sort of adventurer's boots, still on his feet. At some point rolled over, just pulling the blanket over him, folding it back over him, even though he was still on top of the covers, and stared at the wall until the change in light got his attention enough to realize the night had passed. So there he lay,
And
just
sorry, go on.
lost in thought, staring at that same spot on the wall, part of his brain sort of rebelling and yelling at him that get up, there, things needed to be done. He needed to try to figure things out, but another part of his brain just seemed to have taken control of his body. And no matter how much that sort of small voice in his head raged at him that he needed to get up and do something to lend help to what had happened, he just couldn't force himself to get out of bed.
And where Tolan lives, what does it look like?
He lives really sort of just in a sectioned off part of his shop. It is almost as if a loft apartment was attached onto the side of this shop. There is a sort of arched way, and the way that the wall doubles back so you can't see back into that space. Most people would probably think it's a storeroom, but it's actually now where he lives. There is a small wardrobe back there, small sink, just sort of utilitarian stove that is back there, and this bed that usually he tries to make it up each morning, because it's one of the things that gets him through the day a lot of times, is that at least he got that done. The main part of the shop is, if anyone else walked in, it's called a junk shop, but it's almost as though someone who is a hoarder is there. There are projects stacked upon projects, things begun. Every once in a while, he will finish something. And in fact, there are customers who come and he tells them to drop things in the bin and tells them to come back in a day or a week. Depending on how the week goes, it will be done or it won't be. But it's not a healthy environment. It is fairly dark, not necessarily messy. Well, it's not dirty as much as it is messy. He often does have things brought in for food. He tries to cook every once in a while, more often than he'll admit to, because pretty much everything seems to burn. There is not a lot that would spark some of the wonders that surround this city translated into his living space.
And as you lay there, that dappled sunlight comes through on that wall, almost like as it shifts round onto that spot you're looking at. And you hear a knock at the door, and you know it's through the shop door on that pebbled glass. And this is a recognizable knock. And if you check the time, it's that time again. And you hear a little voice come through the door. I know you're in there. I will keep on knocking until you answer me.
I know you will.
Good, then answer the door.
And knowing that, because he's tried to fake it before, he's tried to not answer before, and damn if she is not the most stubborn goat in the whole city. She's knocked for over an hour before, but she'll keep knocking. But for that moment, it sort of breaks through that ice of that part of his brain that sort of had him locked in place. And he swings his legs around and attempts to pat down his wrinkled jacket that he has slept in, try to move his hair in some form or fashion. His beard is sort of squished on one side. He has bed beard. And goes and cracks open the door. What is it, Aggie?
And through this crack in the door, you see this tiny woman. A sort of fairly roundish sort of woman, as she smiles at you, and she's like, "Oh, sweetie, you look terrible. Not sleeping again, are we? I bought biscuits."
And with that, his stomach does give a little growl. And he just sort of opens the door and starts walking back through the shop into this room where there's a small table there, probably almost just like a two-top, with seats across from it, and walks in. And this is an old ritual between the closest thing he has to a friend. And he sits down, and she goes over to the stove and probably has to do a little bit of tidying. Probably will find that cup of tea that is sat there and gotten cold all night, still with a tea bag in it. And
you hear a tutting. She doesn't say anything to you, but she's sort of like pouring it out, and she starts to sort of, she's got like a scarf which uses one half just to like dust some of the dust away off the top of the cooker. She's like, no. Okay. You have not been looking after yourself, have you? No. What? And she sort of sniffs one of the pans that you just, what is this?
He kind of looks at it and tries to remember. Rice? I think I tried rice. I tried to make rice. But
okay. She sort of slides it away and
said just oil and
yeah.
Gives up even trying to explain.
It's fine. And she sort of walks over to the chair, dusts it off herself. She pulls out this sort of contraption or gadget which looks very broken. She's like, my thingamajig broke again, and she just drops it in the bin. And you have repaired this thingamajig at least once a month. You think she's breaking it.
Yeah, he takes a quick look at it, and it is obvious that she has probably slammed it against the corner of her counter to break it. And he gives a little hiccup of a laugh. And he looks at her and he goes, almost like their own inside joke, and they just don't make them like they used to, do they?
No. And she sort of smiles back before sort of always climbing onto the chair and pushing this tin over with biscuits. And she also produces from a bag what looks to be like some bread, some cheese, and just what looks like pickles that maybe she's made. And she sort of shoves them across the table and leans forward. And you can see sort of her sort of salt and pepper hair sort of tied back. It's very short, but it is tied back into the tiniest bun. And she leans forward to that. So, when did you last go out?
I went out last night. I was at Brew and Bindings to get my coffee. Thank you for the tin. And he sort of pats himself and realizes he'd left the tin there. I must have left it.
It's okay, sweetie.
Oh, are you okay?
Of course I am.
After last night, did you?
Oh, terrible business. I don't know what it was. All these things sort of fizzling and fazzling out. I mean, that's your thing, isn't it? Don't you fix things like that? Should be good for you. Get you out a bit more. Terrible mess down the street, though. Whole trams. 2 trams on my street. Gone. Smashed. I would have brought those to you if I could.
It's a bit out of my league to fix trams.
And as you're talking, she's just pushing the tin slightly closer.
And almost absent-mindedly, he's pulling biscuits out.
She puts like the kettle on the burner, not taking her eyes off you, but just like, and moving things around.
Oh, Aggie. It can't be what I'm afraid that it is, but I'm afraid that it is, and I don't know what to do.
Well, what do you think it is? And then maybe we can start there. You do look worse today. You haven't been sleeping. You've got bags bigger than me. And she sort of like starts pointing at like these smiling sort of like crow's feet around her eyes.
Just something from a different life. Hopefully it's a ghost that will stay buried.
A ghost that'll stay buried. Maybe sometimes the ghosts need to be let out, and then they'll go out a bit more.
Not this one. Not this one.
Why?
I wasn't... Things are different. Things are different now than they were.
Well, then things can be different again. And she pushes the tin just that little bit closer. She hops up to fill up 2 teacups as the kettle starts to whistle.
Aggie, you've lived here your whole life, yes?
Yes, I have. And my mother before her, and my mother before her.
Why do you come here? This is across town from where you live. I know.
My thingamajig broke.
Yes. Of course it broke. There's other people who could fix it much closer. Constance quite capable over in the main Riverwalk.
I don't like them. They always try and add something to it, make it, I don't know. And you look like you could do with a chat every now and then. And you're not the only one.
Getting old sucks, doesn't it?
Depends the way you look at it. I mean, I've got 2 cats of company. So, I mean, they're great. And you're kind of stuck with me, aren't you?
Well, I would say I prefer an Aggie to a cat.
That's a compliment, I think.
Cats can't bake biscuits.
No, probably not. You can see her genuinely question that for a moment.
Aggie, I might have to go back and visit the things that I tried to bury over a decade ago, and it scares me.
If it scares you, maybe it's a good thing. I'm scared of lots of things, but I haven't buried anything yet. Maybe you should go dig it up, pull it out, and confront it. I'll go with you if you want.
No, I think this is a path I'm going to have to walk alone this time.
And she sort of waddles back over to the seat, pushes the teacup across to you, dips a biscuit in her own, and bites into it. It's just, you don't have to do it all alone. Like, ever.
This is the part where you're going to tell me to go find friends, or...
Well, if you want. Don't have to. But it might be more interesting than just having me come and bug you every other day. I'm old. Very old now. In fact, sometimes I need to remember how old I am. So I'm probably quite boring for you. It's not going to stop me coming round. I don't care if I'm boring. but it might do you some good to find some others as well. You don't have to have them all at once. Maybe just talk to one person.
I talked to Averick.
Yes, you talked to Averick, but you've been talking to Averick for a very long time now.
Averick is easy to talk
Yes, and that's why you go in there and you have a coffee all the time. Maybe it's time to branch out a bit.
I'll try.
That's all I can ask. But you will try, won't you? Otherwise, I'm going to start coming around twice a week.
Well, I can't have you knocking on my door for hours at a time, now can I? And your poor thingamajig, eventually, I'm not going to be able to put it back together for you. You'll have to get a different one.
Well, then I'll just, as she sort of slips up, well, I'll just break something else then, won't I?
I suppose you will.
And she gives you a slightly smug smile. At that, a sort of, you can't get rid of me sort of smile.
There were three young girls there
Where?
at the coffee shop last night. I think they might have something to do with this.
Oh. What? With the thingies, the thingamajigs that make the trams move?
Perhaps.
Huh. Why?
I don't know. No one ever knew comes into Bruin bindings. I mean, that's why I like it.
And she
I mean,
raises
Paula's-
an eyebrow.
Well, Paula's always there, and she's lovely. She's quiet and stays to herself and reads. But she had a friend last night, and then I saw another one who had come into my shop once.
Oh.
I think your friend.
Now she's lovely. You can't moan about her.
She came into my shop, started slinging magic around. Not sent her to the university. You know better.
It's sort of like slinging it around.
Well, I might have startled her, but she was in my shop.
Okay, maybe she should have knocked, or maybe we should have waited for something. But she's only, she's young. Maybe she was curious. You were curious once.
I was, wasn't I?
Very. That's why I don't understand most of this. Not a bad thing. Well, she sort of grumbles a little bit to herself. It is, in some sense. What I'm saying is, give the poor girl a chance. She's actually rather interesting. And she likes my biscuits.
Well, everyone likes your biscuits. However, I think Averick is going to lose a tooth if you keep giving him the...
He doesn't have to eat them. I'm just going to keep giving them to him. He needs to learn self-control.
As he pulls another biscuit out. Yes, Aggie, I'll be sure to pass it along. You're right, of course.
Good. Right. And she sort of like hops down off of this chair and sort of quickly drains her cup of tea. And you can see her take it over and start washing it up. And she washes a couple more things up that are there. It's like, you've got bread, you've got your cheese, you've got your biscuits. The pickles are shallots, piccalilli, and let's call that one the mystery one because I can't remember what's in that one. But other than that, I'll pop by in a few days and you'll go out and say hello.
Yes, I will, Aggie. Thank you. And I'll clean up myself before I go.
I like cleaning, it's fine.
I meant me.
Oh, yeah, just maybe straighten she sort of gestures your beard that's slightly skew with right now from where you slept. It's like, you look fine. It's fine. Just get more sleep and you'll be fine.
Yes, Aggie.
Okay, well, I'm off. And if I don't see you out and about, you know I'm going to be knocking. And she sort of heads over to the door, gives you a little wave.
Before she goes out, he sort of puts his hand on the door so that she can't quite pull it open, and he looks down at her straight in the eye and goes, "Thank you, Aggie."
And she sort of looks up, smiles, reaches up and puts like a hand on your face and is like, "That's fine, sweetie," and sort of walks out and closes the door.
And Toland goes and gets himself straightened up, actually makes it to the shower and gets his beard straightened out and starts getting ready to face the day that he did not think he would be able to face.
And whilst that's happening, we're going to hop back over to the others. And what is happening as you sort of leave for the day? Or where are you now after breakfast, after you've left the house?
What time is it about? Once we've had breakfast and...
Call it about 7 a.m.
Okay.
It is fairly early. The sun came through the blinds fairly early, and Felonius and Paula's mum they were not too quiet.
I know Paula is probably like scrambling to get to the university on time for work. And hey Nadine, I don't know what you're up to today. I know we spent all of last night together and you haven't been home in a really long time, but I mean, if you wanted to come by the university and check out the library too, that would be fine by me.
That would actually be quite fun, but she looks down at her clothes. She goes, "I kind of want to go home and get changed and cleaned up a little bit. Can I meet you there? Like maybe after lunch?"
That sounds awesome. I'm totally down for that.
Okay, so just meet at the library, you said.
Yeah, at the university. I'll be the one at the desk.
Sounds good. I will meet you there. Let's say like 1-ish at the desk at the university library.
It's a plan.
Wonderful. And what about you, Charlie?
I should go check up on the shop. I don't know where those other trams fell, but it's not far.
Do you want company?
Kind of my house. If you wanna.
Well, I did want to pick up a couple little more plants because I've given away all my terrariums.
Oh shit! I was like, did I fall on it?
I'm not a monster.
I think I have enough like layers that it may have like cushioned the fall. It was just like in a pocket.
Oh, don't worry, they're very durable. That's the nice thing about succulents.
Yeah, I pull it out. I'm just like, yeah, party bugger. I'm afraid to bend.
You know, I would offer to join you guys, but I always have work to do, so I'm really sorry about that.
There's no need to apologize. You have job, you have to do job.
Yeah, and I'm sure things are crazy over there right now, considering what happened last night. So.
That's a very good point. Yes, you go and see everything over there, and hopefully everyone's all right, and then catch us up when I see you later. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Stay safe, though.
Okay, you too. Especially considering everything that's been happening.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna head out. You guys just lock up when you leave, and I'll see you later, Nadi. Hopefully, see you soon, Charlie, if you're ever around. Books and bindings, brew and bindings.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we'll follow Paula. And Paula, you sort of walk down these stairs in this apartment block building, and they're all made of stone, almost like a marble, but it's not quite a marble color. It's a bit darker. And you walk out onto the street, and the warmth hits you almost straight away. And you step out, and the destruction of the falling trams, almost you would almost not realize it had even happened last night, is the only real memory of it is that you see maybe only one tram in sort of the sky above you, and a man sort of sweeping what looks like the last remnants of glass away. But other than that, this is the same street, same cobbled footpath. You can see all the vines creeping up your apartment block building with all these flowers that are sort of stretching and opening up for the day, and lots of people walking around with their familiars. And as you go, you see the odd few that are always there on your trip. In fact, you see a young child walking, holding hands with its mother, sort of wave at you as this small rabbit, this sort of small spectral blue rabbit, hops around her feet, crossing your path and jumping straight through you briefly as it sort of dances around your own feet and running off after them. And you arrive at the waterway, and he's there again. And the same man who dropped you off last night, and he smiles up at you. I wondered if you were going to be coming down. Did you hear about everything that happened last night? And he sort of holds his hand out again to help you into the boat.
I was actually right by one of the trams when they fell. I mean, not right next to it. My friend Charlie was, but I was very much in the middle of it all when it was happening. It was very frightening.
Well, you all right?
Oh, I'm fine. Just a little shaken up. It was scary for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I mean, they've probably got to sort some sort of maintenance on it, or I don't really know. I don't really get how that sort of stuff works.
For sure. Did you hear if anyone got hurt?
Apparently one or two people, but it weren't like life-threatening or anything. Just like cuts and bruises. Nothing bad. Miracle, really, if you're considering. And he sort of like gestures up.
Yeah, that's great actually. Considering I was thinking about it, and at first I thought it could have been an attack, but who would attack at such a strange hour when no one was out and no one even got hurt? So I'm starting to think maybe it was just some kind of weird
well, you know, who would attack the trams? It's not like it's just like a power shortage or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. I just, I read a lot, and when you read about wars and fighting. There's so much fighting in books all the time, and soldiers and armies, and I just feel like I've never actually seen any of that really happening. So I'm always kind of on edge,
Maybe you need to relax a little bit. I mean, I know last night was a bit, but it's being dealt with. And as he's pushing off down this waterway, again, you can look down and you still see people walking around in the streets down there. You also see a tram bobbing up and down the top of this as he sort of navigates you around. As you see two other boats sort of drawing it to the side so it can be removed. And you can see what looks like sort of another familiar that seems to be like a seal or something like that, that is probably belongs to one of the workers who are helping to get this out, as it sort of bobs around and swims in and out of this carriage, almost looking like it's trying to help, like it's trying to push it in a certain direction. But there's still lots of life and still lots of things buzzing around here. As you approach the academy steps, and this huge, almost white stone building rises up into the sky, and you see again those two huge wooden doors, elaborately carved, open. Students flooding in and out. You can see from the circular sort of walkways around the edge and a couple of bridges over to the accommodation, some very tired students sort of wandering into class for the day, some with familiars at their side, others not. And he pulls the boat up. Here we are then.
Here we are, another day, another day. Well,
Another day.
another day. See ya this afternoon.
Yeah, same spot.
Same spot. And Paula will hop off the boat and admire the place, her workplace. You know, it never gets old. This beautiful giant white building. Just it's she's always excited to go to work.
And you can walk in through those huge doors, and almost the temperature drop hits you as you step into the shade, even though there's a beam of light coming in through the windows and the doorways at this sort of mosaic tiled floor. And could you roll me an intellect for me, please? Just straight up sort of difference of 2.
Does that mean difficulty 2?
Yes, difficulty 2.
Okay.
Okay. You look around and it's the same sort of busy. It's full of teachers, professors, students all wandering around. You can see the heavy books. However, there are some other people here that aren't usually here. Robed people, which you recognize as members of the church. And they seem to have come in to the academy, and there's maybe 4 or 5 of them sort of chatting with the professors, and you can assume it's something to do with what happened last night. And almost not looking where you're going, you bump in to one of them. Would you look where you're going? You're muted.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just making my way to the library. If you excuse me.
He sort of huffs and says, "For goodness sake," and sort of straightens like up his robes, which is sort of a white, red, and a gold. And he sort of looks at you and he's like, "Do you work here, or are you a student?"
Oh no, that's very flattering, first of all. But I do work here. I work in the library. I'm the librarian here at the academy.
Okay.
On the magic side.
Then I need to ask you some questions as well. May I come with you?
Yeah, sure, of course. My office might be a little messy. I hope that's okay.
I don't care. And he sort of looks over to this other group and just sort of clicks and waves to say he's going with you. And he starts to walk with you very quietly, very upright, dark hair, with his hands behind his back as he walks almost fairly smartly and abruptly up the steps.
Lovely weather we're having. in the city, it was just raining a couple days ago. So it's nice to have.
Raises an eyebrow at you. Yes, it was raining a few days ago.
You must all be worried about the incident last night, no doubt.
We are, for good reason. And you can see sort of looks around you and above you. You don't use magic.
No, not I. But it's all cool though. It's all good in the hood, I'm open for whatever.
He
Does
just
he
stares at you. He's got this really awkward sort of penetrating stare. As you walk up around these steps and walk down that corridor everyone, and some of the students, as much as you're walking with this very upright, stern man, some of them still wave to you. You can see Noah, who's like, I just left some stuff on your desk. And sort of catches an eye of this man who gives him a stern look. And he's sort of, you see him Noah sort of shrink away a little bit. But as soon as this man's back's turned, you see Noah just like just pointing over to your desk again.
So, this is the library.
Yes.
Pretty awesome place. I don't know if you've been before.
I have. I studied here.
Oh wow, have you? That's really cool. I studied here too, on the other wing, obviously.
Me too.
Okay, so you don't use magic either, I see.
He sort of wrinkles his nose at that and is like, no. No, I don't. Do you have a more private space? I don't want all these students listening in. As you see, the tables that are set out in the library, as usual, you see a lot of the students there reading already in depth into a book or chatting. They see you and they sort of give you a smile, and you can see either their familiars tucked under the desks, wrapped around their feet, or up on the table around their shoulders. And you see this man sort of tense up as he sees all of this.
I have a separate office. Yeah, it's right over here if you'll follow me. And Paula's like a little, she blushes a little, like, oh, private meeting, okay, like.
And again, his very flat, stern face. He does open the door for you. He's like, after you.
Oh, thank you. You can take a seat over there. I don't have many chairs. I'll sit on the desk.
Just one chair will do. And he sort of you see him sort of pat himself down, straighten himself up, and he sits back in this chair very rigidly.
In the office, no one goes into the office except for me, so there's only the one chair on the desk. So like I'll kind of pull the desk back and sit on the desk. So what brings you to the academy?
I want to ask questions about what happened last night.
Right, that's right. Of course. Now, why would you think that I would be worth asking questions?
We ask everyone. Also, and sort of looks at the name tag effectively on your desk. And he sort of raises an eyebrow. You are Paula? Is that am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yeah, it's actually Paula.
Paula. Okay.
It's more like Paula, but you could say it like that. That's fine.
Okay. And again, just like a deadpan face as you say this. Is that we had some people place you at some of the incidents that happened last night. I know some of the other professors were out in the evening and said they saw the trams fall.
Yeah, that would be accurate. I was out. I was at Bruin Bindings with some friends, and
Yes. What did you see?
not much. The lights, they flickered and then they went out, and then there was a crash. And that's all I got. I mean, I was a little shaken up by the whole thing. It was very frightening, and my friends were at risk. So
That must have been very difficult for you.
yeah, it was a little spooky, but here we are.
Yes, here we are. Who are your friends? I wish to talk to them as well.
Well, one is Charlie and the other is Nadi. And there was this other guy there, Talon, I think his name is. I think I might have overheard him say that once, but I'm not really sure about that.
He, at that, frowns. Talon Falk.
Beats me.
And he stands and he takes a step towards you. Let me give you a warning. Don't go near Talon Falk.
Yeah, I didn't really have much intention to. He's scary.
He's not scary, he is a disgrace, is what he is. Do not associate yourself with him at any time.
Okay. All right, I'm not gonna pry because that's your business.
Don't talk to him. Don't go near him for your own safety.
Okay. Can I keep going to the same coffee shop? Because I think he's still probably gonna go to that coffee shop, and that's my favorite coffee shop.
Right.
So,
and you see him sort of log that information. Okay. I think we're done here.
Oh. I mean, I could tell you more about the new catalog system we have, or the shipment we just got in from.
Let me stop you there. You work in the magic department of this academy. Yes?
I do. Yes, that is accurate.
Maybe you shouldn't. I may come to talk to you again, but remember what I said. And he holds out a hand for you to shake.
Okay. And I take his hand. And if I'm wanting to talk to you again, can I just find you at the church, or?
I'll be around. I will be at the academy for the next 2 days. If you go to the church, you ask for Deacon Marks, and I will come.
Okay, Deacon Marks.
Yes.
Okay.
Other than that, and he sort of leans in, don't associate yourself with Talon Falk. And you sort of feel like his hand grip yours quite tightly, almost like a warning sort of squeeze, before he lets go quite sporadically. Thank you for your time. And he opens the door and closes it with you still in the room.
Yep, it was lovely. Come back soon. Oh my. Oh boy. Pal is like wiping her palms on her skirt. She's like, really? Oh, well. On with my day then.
And you can be like at your desk and there's a knock at the door, and without waiting to hear you say anything, the handle turns and opens just like a smidge, and Noah's head pops round and it's like, is he gone?
Oh my god. No, you scared me. Oh,
Sorry.
oh,
As you see like that little red salamander sort of crawl up around the other side of the door. He's gone then.
yeah,
The
yeah,
bro.
he's gone.
Okay. And he's like, I can't stay, but look. And he holds up this like test sheet of paper, and you can just see a lot of green ticks on it.
Noah!
He's like, I did it. See?
I'm
And he looks so happy with himself. He sort of adjusts his hair slightly. So, I've got to go now, but I thought you wanted to know. So
before he goes, or like maybe while he's turning around to leave, I'll like run up and give him a hug.
yeah, he's sort of like, thanks.
So proud of you, Noah. Keep up the good work.
And he sort of flushes red and he's like, I still haven't seen my keys though. So if anyone hands them in, can you
Noah,
what?
where'd you sleep last night?
Oh, I went to my cousin's. I wasn't gonna face my mom.
Noah.
It's fine. I'm sure they'll pop up today. If not, I'll probably be breaking in tonight. So I'll see you later. And he sort of quickly closes the door and disappears again. And Nadi, where can we find you right now?
Nadi probably walked along with Charlie to Charlie's florist. And probably we were chatting along the way, I would think.
Yeah. Charlie's pretty like forthright, but doesn't like start conversation. She will answer all of your questions, but that's kind of like how it goes.
So basically Naughty is naughty. She's just gonna keep talking because that's how she does.
Great.
So did you notice like when we were sitting there and the flickering happened, did you feel that? I didn't want to say it to the others, but there was that weird feeling.
It was weird. Like,
it's like someone sort of went inside and like tickled my heart. But not in a good way.
No.
It was off-putting.
I kind of felt like there... Maybe I felt it kind of different, where it almost felt like there was less air to breathe.
Yes.
For
like
a
less,
second.
yes, like less of part of self. I don't know. It wasn't right. I didn't want to scare the others and let them know that something was affecting us, but I wanted to check with you and see if you picked up on that too.
Yeah, no, I definitely felt it, and it's part of what's really, I guess, concerning me is that I've never seen magic just cut. I've seen things like very low energy or like spent or something, but never anything that I couldn't like put magic back into.
Right.
These plants were like beyond dead.
Which is definitely not... I've never seen it where you can't bring them back or fix them a little bit. Like that was... It was almost like they weren't living to begin with. Like it was just all life taken away.
And if I could do that to a person, I don't know.
But what that Mr.
Survive
Sirs...
that.
The Mr. Sirs saying someone lost a spirit animal. That was... That was scary. I did not know that either. Or that it was true thing. I've heard, stories, but there's stories. How is Al? Al is okay?
It's fine. Just kind of like pick him up and his little tail curled around, just like, yeah.
Well, that's good. Prem is a little... I think he's more upset that he didn't have time to play with Cat, but... That's Prema.
I think he kept the cat away from us. Maybe he
Probably
intimidated
did.
him.
Prema likes to think he's boss of situation at all times.
Give him a little salute.
He'll salute you back. So probably we check, see how everything is at shop, and if you don't mind, I want to get a couple little things.
Yeah, I'm not working today, but Armand should be in. It's what? I don't know if I have a my phone would be my watch, but since it doesn't work anymore, I'm just like, he might be opening up around now.
Nadia will look up, she goes, it's probably about 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, yes.
Okay.
I don't wear watches, they tend to break on me.
Yeah, I just really hope that it's still there.
Yes.
I know
It's
the
a
trams
lovely
don't
place.
really run over a lot of the buildings, but
But
all
still,
of them do.
are you doing okay though?
Yeah. I mean, I'm less worried about what happened and more, what if it happens again? What if it's the whole city?
That's the scary part. It happened to a whole city and not just little spots or one person. Well, hopefully it was just like a random glitch and we just move on. Everything good, right?
I hope so.
And you can slowly arrive outside the shop. And it's not quite the same as the shop you visited the other day, Nadine. But you can see it does open all the way. You can see a lot of flowers sort of growing up the walls and sort of in all the nooks and crannies, almost weaving within these wooden panels inside this store as they sort of poke out. And there seems to be a lot of moss on the walls here. And there's trays and trays and tables all at different levels of just plants. And Charlie, you can see a man just sort of sweeping up glass at the front of this shop, sort of humming to himself. He doesn't seem too upset or anything by it, but you can see him doing so.
Is there any damage around the place, or did it seem more like the glass that broke around
You can
the
see
lights and stuff?
like a couple of the windows on the shop are smashed. You can imagine not from being smashed by someone, but probably a falling tram or something.
Okay. I'll just not hurry over, but just kind of try and catch his eye. Just be like, hey, everything all right?
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. We seem to be doing okay, I guess. You're all right though. You didn't get hurt or... Oh, hi! And he just sort of looks over at Nadine.
Hello, I'm back for more plants. Provided everything okay for purchasing. I can come back another time though.
No, it's fine,
Okay,
Keep
then
going on.
I'll go look around and you two can chat. I'll just go over here. And she's like,
Yeah, go have a look, help yourself. Yeah, no, that's fine. Mind and as you do, amongst some of the plants rise up almost like a very dozy, sleepy sort of looking like snake, a huge python as it snakes around the legs. And it looks like it's been sleeping, settling amongst some of the moss and the plants that are just sort of growing. It's like, don't mind him. He's just, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
he's very cute. What's his name?
He sort of looks. Is it? Well, if I'm honest, people give him names all the time. They come into the shop and he calls quite a kerfuffle sometimes because where he's quite lazy. He doesn't normally make himself known very quickly. So it's normally when someone finally moves a pot plant and the shock of their life. I mean, I just call him Sam, but he's had many names, not very nice ones. It doesn't seem to bother him.
Well, I'll call him Sam too for consistency.
Yeah, he probably won't notice. As you see this like big sort of heavy head sort of look at you, look at Prima, look over at Charlie, sort of like twist its head slightly to look sideways and then sort of disappear back under these plants.
Nadia will be perfect. She'll probably start looking like around there because Sam the snake is kind of sitting there doing his thing.
Yeah. Every now and then you see this tongue sort of like shoot out amongst like the moss. As Aman looks at Charlie, he's like, you weren't caught in any of it though, were you?
Well, tram almost fell on me, but it didn't, and that's the important part.
What?
Yeah, no, I was actually with Nutty and another friend of ours at a coffee shop. I mean, I didn't go with them, but we all happened to be there. It was funny, one of those days where you just kind of meet up with people. Anyway, I don't know, the lights just flickered, went out, and like a wave down the street, and
yeah, that happened here too. Like, and you realize as he stands up fully straight, he's quite tall. He's got this sort of blue apron on, and sort of the very messy, just blonde hair, quite tall, quite slim. He's like, that happened here too, all the way down the streets. Everything just started shutting off. I don't know.
Did anything fall, like, right near here? It seems like it's been...
Well, a couple of the lamps did, and a tram did further down. Lamps broke the window, though, so... It could have been worse.
Yeah.
Could have been much worse, from the sounds of it, but I'm glad you're all right.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't... It was a little... We were all a little creeped out, so we went back to one of their houses.
Oh, good.
So
okay.
Being alone anywhere.
At the concern in his voice when you say that you almost had a tram dropped on you, you see Sam perk up as well. In fact, Nadir, very quickly, this sort of head of this snake comes up and looks over towards Charlie, almost mimicking Aman, sort of like as showing the concern in the same way. It's just, take the day off. I know you've already got the day off, but you always turn up and you always try and just...
Are you sure? I mean, there's a lot...
Oh, this is fine, it's fine. Like, and he sort of like looks down at the glass and sort of tries to push it to the side with his feet, thinking you haven't seen it yet. It's like, it's fine, just clearing up a little bit and, you know, just a normal day. It's fine.
I'm glad you're all right. And Sam and the shop. I mean, I do like having a home.
Handy, yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks. I probably won't be around much today. Would it be awful if I took tomorrow too?
No, take it. It's fine. It's fine. There's some stuff I want to do here anyway.
I may still be here end of the day, but I mean, you'll see me when you're closing up.
Well, you still got your keys and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then you're fine.
Okay.
And he sort of gives you a smile. And he sort of looks over, he's like, right, I've got to go and sort some stuff out. And he takes a tray of some of these plants and walks over and you just hear, Sam, come on. And Nadir, you see this huge, you didn't realize how big this python was until it starts to move and rear up And as it does, as it sort of straightens the top half out, it's not that far away from the ceiling. As it sort of slides off the table and follows Aman out towards the back.
So long, Sam.
I've
seen all of you.
Just hear this sort of slight hiss, almost like a flutter of the tongue rather than an actual hiss. As he sort of weaves his way amongst all the tables. Even though he's passing through some of the table legs, he seems to be weaving amongst a lot of them as it disappears.
I'm still gonna do a little round to just like check on the plants and see if any have gotten like perturbed by this falling glass or anything, which like I'm sure he's cleaned up most of by now, but it's just like, are they okay?
You can look around and they all seem absolutely fine. And you see the small sort of almost like sprinklers start to erupt amongst some of the tables as they start to water these flowers. And some of the flowers that are hanging down from the ceiling too start to, it's almost like in a dome. As the water comes on, you can see almost like as if it's like an invisible shield as the water gets caught and draws up into the flowers. And very quickly it disappears again once the water is finished.
Alright. Well, I'll check in on how Nettie is finding things and yeah.
I think I have everything I need. And this new moss is very pretty. I'm going to take some of this and this little plant here and that one over there.
All right.
Is it okay if I just leave him money on the countertop?
Oh, here, I'll check you out. It's fine.
Are you? But you're supposed to be taking the day off. He said so.
Just don't tell him.
You see a hand come from behind the other door. Goes, just leave it in the pot on the counter. Just sort of like gesturing.
Okay, and I'll be back another time soon.
And there's just this thumbs up that comes through the door, as you can.
She would totally do the thumbs up, like.
Yeah, he can't see, but.
You heard the man.
All right, I put the money in here and we go.
Yeah.
Did you have some place you need to be? Because
well, I was hoping to change at least a few.
Yeah, me too.
But,
do you want to maybe join us at the library? Since you have day off and it'd be quiet, I guess. It's okay to say no too.
Well, I do have some plans now. Like now that I know that I have the day, there's few friends I want to check in with. Just I don't know how long it's gonna take.
It's good to have friends to check on, and hopefully you have a better day than what we had last night, because that was not fun. Well, parts were fun, but the whole thing in terms of the spooky, creepy Darkman, not fun at all.
Yeah. I don't know if they would try it during the day.
I think they'd be more obvious during the day.
Yeah.
I mean,
seemed like they weren't trying to hurt anyone. I think.
I don't know. Just the way that they were staring.
Well, yeah.
That's the weird part. Like, at least say hello or wave, but don't just stare. But that's just me. By the way, does that Mr. Sir have place around here? You said he has like a shop.
Yeah. Oh, Tolan.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, he's. Let's see. Normally it would be a tram ride, but if we're trying to avoid those, there's a way to take the canals. Honestly, any of the like boat people would know. It's not a great part of town.
Well,
it's just dark. Maybe that's not a problem, but
well, just something to keep in mind for myself, because I like, different things for, and she'll hold up her plants for, planting these in, just for different looks.
Maybe. I mean, maybe if you come in as a customer, it'd be more open
Bring
to
money. Get
it. I personally don't recall what the name of the shop is, but I think Charlie would and share it.
It literally just says Mechie Arcane Repair, which is sort of just a general term for junk repair. But yes, it is in this sort of not great, darker part of the city, as in there's not as much wild, it's not as infused with all of this plants and magic and are not there as much as they are at other places. That okay description, Alice?
It's fine.
Yeah, it's walking distance. It's walking distance from Bruin Binding. So,
Mm-hmm. So it's not that far.
All right, then I think I'm going to go home, take a bath, get some better something for Prema because he's in a mood. And maybe I'll see you later.
Sure.
All right.
Be safe.
You too. Bye, Charlie.
I'll just head upstairs and
Nadia would just top towards the canals and probably get one of the boats to bring her back closer to home.
And as you two go your separate ways, we're going to hop back over to Tolan. What is Tolan doing right now after he showered, after his little pep talk from Aggie?
he gets himself put together, his sort of normal wear. He wears sort of khaki corduroy type pants, very sort of worn, not threadbare, but you know how corduroy sort of after a while, some of the ridges aren't quite as sharp as they used to be. And he finds a clean-ish shirt, not pressed or anything, but it's been washed. It doesn't smell. Just sort of a basic white cotton button-down type ideal, not formal, but not necessarily casual. He's got his old jacket that sort of comes down, this sort of canvas, outdoors type jacket, really not appropriate for city wear, but it's what he wears. And he putters around the shop as he gets himself ready, and he kind of has to steel himself once or twice before getting out the door. He has every intention of going just to Book and Bindings, to Bruin Bindings. I've started saying it too, to Bruin Bindings. And but on his way out, almost without thinking, he grabs a key on an old sort of wooden dowel and puts it into one of the deep pockets of his jacket. And as he goes out, he steps out in front of his shop. The canals are a few blocks away. He has an actual sort of older cobblestone street that he's on. He sort of looks to the left, which is the way to Bruin Bindings. Bites his lip and looks up, gives a sigh. He takes a right instead and walks deeper down into this area of the city that, as he goes sort of further away from his shop, it becomes more and more sort of mundane looking. He goes down a small alley and pulls out the key and puts it in the lock and opens. Go ahead.
No, so across on the way down this alleyway, there is less green. There are no flowers at all in this greenery. There's still life here, but as you put your key in the door, you can see some vines have grown over it, and they are grey. Very much like the ones that were in the shop after someone walked past. And as you turn the key and open the door, they just fall away, sort of almost turn to dust on the floor itself.
He goes inside. And looks around the space. The biggest thing he's checking right now is whether or not anyone has been here. If anyone has disturbed anything, if anyone has been inside.
Could you roll me an intellect, please? Difficulty 3. This is your shop.
I am going to put effort into this, if that's okay. Is there any way I can have an asset from my planner action of that being able to observe?
Oh gosh, yeah. Then we'll turn it down to a difficulty of 2.
Okay. Ooh, natural 20.
Wow. You know your shop. You know this place. And it has gathered dust. You can see where plants once were, and they've sort of broken away, almost leaving a shadow of the pattern of the vines wrapping around things that are no longer there. And on the floor, you see footprints in the dust. You see them all over this place, all over the floor. And you can see where things have been touched, where the dust is no longer settled there. You can see where one of the windows, someone has taken a sleeve or something and just wiped it to allow some light in.
He just scrunches up his face. Why? Why would anybody come and try to go down this path again? He continues. He looks around for things that he had thought he had secured, things that he couldn't keep near him, but that he wanted to have secured the places that no one should be able to find them, and checks those places.
You head to each place, and it's almost like you can follow the lines of footsteps. You throw each space open, it's gone. The next space, gone. It's all been taken. Almost in a obvious trail cleared through the dust. And you know what it is they've taken. It's very specific.
Yep. He sighs. He walks out the door. He doesn't close it. He doesn't lock it. There's no reason now. And he heads back up the alley. He looks around him. Was the scar it left not enough of a warning? As he looks at the fact there is no flowers, there are no fairy lights in this part of the city. And with a quick step, because he just needs to be out of this place, heads towards Ruin Bindings.
You stride through this, out of this sort of part of the city, and towards Ruin Bindings. You can take some paths that aren't quite as busy, and can you make me an intellect roll again, please?
Yep.
Just straight up intellect.
Yep. It's a 6.
You sort of hear a chattering, a confused chattering as you walk down this pathway towards Ruin Bindings. You know it well. There's lots of people about, some of them with their familiars. You can see someone striding down this pathway with this bear that's just by their side, sort of almost waddling, with this very small person, a very slim, very tiny person. And what catches your eye is another spectral creature, a small monkey, almost like a spider monkey. And you see it follow one person for a bit, and then you see it follow another, and then another, and it stands there. It's sort of up on its hind legs, looking confused, as it then runs off towards another, disappearing down one of the side streets.
And he watches it go. He tries to follow it, but I'm sure being a monkey, it can quickly get lost among everything. There's a part of him that steps to follow, and sort of memory comes crashing to him. And he just sort of sighs. I hope you find them, he says to himself.
And soon, you're outside Ruin Bindings again. You can see all the potted plants have been replaced on the windowsill. You can see a couple of people fixing a brand new window and painting the Ruin Bindings sign back on the glass, sort of laughing as they can see Averick sort of trying to make coffee around Clyde, basically. And it's not very full today. There's maybe one other person in this coffee shop.
And it's much earlier than Tolan usually comes. But he, as he always does, sort of takes a moment and braces himself before stepping into this place, even though there's just one person inside, one customer inside. And then steps in, almost stopping to pause to hear the bell, just something familiar to sort of ring him back into the present.
And you see Averick turn around and see you and almost drop the mug that he was cleaning, but he quickly grabs it. It's just like, you're early. Really, really early. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Aggie started knocking at 8 a.m.
Of course she did. Come on, come in. Sort of as he laughs and starts brewing some coffee. What does she force on you this time?
Well, biscuits. She brought me pickles, though. Those are so good. She always makes those nice pickles.
I know, right? I mean, I don't know what she does to them. You think she was, sort of gestures to himself, like, you think there was magic in those things, because oh my god, I can eat it with a spoon.
Well, a little cheese, some of that bread that she makes. I'm set for a day or two at least.
It should be less than that, but yeah, set for a day or two.
Yes, coffee. How are you? How is Clyde?
Tired. And you sort of see this dog sort of rise up, sort of also looking equally as tired as Averick, and sort of rest its head on the counter in this sort of almost greenish bluish spectral like form, but it sort of has that almost like goofy smile as it sees you. Well, we weren't supposed to be opening right now, but I wanted a distraction. Just got one customer, but I mean, I can probably sit and have a coffee with you if you want, if you don't mind, of course, unless you want to just sit and...
No, we need to talk.
Okay.
That's what happened.
Yeah, sounds serious. Okay, I'm gonna need a coffee. And he sort of starts moving
Take
around. Two, okay.
Well,
And
one for me, one for you.
okay, I didn't think it was that kind of conversation. And he's like, go to over there, I'll bring it over in a second.
Yep.
And you can hear that whir and that as the coffee machine sort of buzzes into life. And soon he comes over with these 2 coffees. If you sit in the same chair, he drags another towards and puts it down. And you sort of see him wince as he just moves his leg slightly. And Clyde comes and sits around the table.
Worse today after last night, your leg.
Only a little bit stiff. That's fine. It's all good.
He sort of looks down and sort of stirs his coffee, even though he's drinking it black.
It's fine.
No, I know we don't talk about it, but I have to ask you, have you gone back?
Gone back to
To the lab?
No. I couldn't. Sounds stupid, I don't know why. I couldn't.
Neither have I. Until today. Someone's been there.
And he sort of looks around and leans closer. What do you mean someone's been there?
Someone's been there, and they've taken it. All of it.
Taken it. And he sort of pushes his, runs fingers, almost, which he does all the time he's nervous. He frantically moves it through his hair. He's like, what does that mean?
I'm afraid it means that what happened last night is connected.
What, like the start of something? What?
I hope not.
What do we do? When you say everything, do you mean
Everything.
everything? Oh, God. And he just sort of sits back and slumps in his chair and sort of absent-mindedly drops his hand and scratches sort of Clyde's head, who's sort of resting in between both of you. What does this mean? What do we do? I mean, this is our responsibility, right?
I don't know anymore. Yes, it must. If it's not our responsibility, whose is it? It was never meant for this. It was an accident. It was carelessness.
Yeah. And he sort of...
Mine, not yours. It was mine.
No, it was both of us. Let's be honest. You can't blame yourself fully for this.
I can't believe we didn't just destroy it. I can't believe I couldn't make myself go back. Until now, it's too late.
I didn't go back either, Tolan. Neither of us did. I couldn't. I couldn't. And you see him sort of reach down and scratch this metal leg. Again, almost like out of nervousness. And he sort of fidgets a little bit. I'm still so sorry this happened. Did they leave any trace? Do we know who it could have been? Do we...
Not. I just saw footprints. When I realized it was gone, I had to run. I had to get out. I couldn't stay. Knowing what...
Look, maybe I could go back and have a look.
I'm afraid someone is watching us.
Why? I'm a freaking coffee shop owner and worker.
You are now.
Exactly. That's all gone. That's done. This doesn't happen. We are done.
I'm now worried. Stupid. I thought they were looking at those Paula and her friends. I think they were here for us.
Okay. We don't know that. I mean, everyone has something going on, right? I just want to make coffee. I
might have to ask you, depending on what happens next.
Ask me what, Tolan?
To help me fix this.
You know my answer's yes.
You know I wouldn't ask if I didn't think we were the only ones who might.
Exactly. And in my opinion, I got out of this lucky.
What happened. I think at this point, we lay low, we see. It took us years to do our first attempt. There's no way they're going to get it right. Unfortunately, the problem is that they get it wrong.
Have you been back out of the city since then or not?
I've tried. I couldn't. It's different now. It's hard. It's too... I saw a lost in a knockway in the city.
Can you still hear it?
I can still hear them, especially when they're lost.
Was it? You sure it wasn't just,
No, it was looking for someone it had been severed. I'm afraid there'll be more. I hope not. We'll see.
Well, then we fix it. And he sort of straightens himself up. We fix it. I don't know how, but we fix it. We did this. We created it.
We brought it here.
Exactly.
Until then, just keep your eyes out. Be safe, be careful. Let me know if your leg gets worse.
My leg's fine. I will, but my leg is fine. Anyway, and he sort of reaches down again. He's like, I've got Clyde. And sort of scratches him behind the ear.
That you do. Clyde will take care of you.
Yeah, well, maybe let someone take care of you.
I have an Aggie.
Don't we all? And he sort of looks over to the window, just almost like as he's thinking of something that happened. Yes, don't we all? Still come back tonight.
I'm not sure if I'll leave before.
That's fine.
Got another book on that shelf to finish.
And I can get food.
Thank you.
Aggie gave me loads. I can't eat all of it on my own. Like, if you could, yeah.
Did she bring the pickles?
Yeah. Yeah, she did. I mean, it's funny. I mean, they can't eat. He sort of gestures down to Clyde. He's like, but his nose goes every time I crack open that jar.
Of course it does.
Yeah. Well, top up.
Yeah.
Okay. And you see him sort of heave himself out of the chair, as he always does, and he walks slightly. It's not a limp. He just walks stiffly on one side as he heads over to the coffee machine. And we'll hop back over to Paula. Whereabouts are you? It's coming up to like lunchtime. After lunch sort of time.
Paula is she has her reading glasses on and she's at like the top of a really tall ladder, like really freaking tall ladder, and sorting the books and that haven't been touched for a while. There's like lots of dust, and every time she sneezes from all the dust, like the ladder shakes and she feels like it's gonna fall back, and she has to like stabilize herself, you know. But yeah, she's like trying to like take care of the nooks and crannies of the library, waiting for Nadi to hopefully come at some point. But
and would Nadi be arriving at this sort of time if it's just after lunch?
Yeah, she would be. She'd probably, like, she has a bad habit of saying a certain time and getting there like a half hour earlier because she's always so excited.
And Nadi, you sort of, someone points towards the direction of the library for you, and you walk past other bookshelves before you get to the main library, and you can see books moving themselves and putting themselves in place, and many, many staircases that seem to wind all the way up the top of this main hall of this academy. You can see students walking around, and huge stained glass windows that filter this trickling colorful light as the afternoon sun comes in. And you can walk down this corridor You see a couple of students smiling and talking to each other, and you can tell you're already in the magic quarter of this part, as you can see. A lot of students walking your way, they sort of give you a quick smile. Briefly, as one of them walks past, their otter familiar looks at Prima as it's almost like looking in a mirror as they circle each other before the other one drifts back through the air. This is a sort of a pinky purplish color as it quickly catches up with its other half.
Prima would totally be flirting too. Like he'd be like waving and winking and kind of like as it goes away.
Yeah, it's confused more than anything.
This is wonderful. Oh, Prema, could you imagine if we came here earlier? But we have to find Paula.
You can walk into this library, and these walls are high, and you've never seen so many books in your life. Old, new. You can even see some that look like maybe scrolls or something just written on. Very old. They're sort of in almost like square, cornered off parts of the shelving. And over in the corner, past some of the students, you can see Paula just briefly sort of panic as she wobbles briefly on this ladder. And she's quite high up, as you see these books just seem to go on as far as the eye can see. But the higher up you go, where it looks like the ladders can't reach, there is a balcony that goes round the top, where you can see some other students picking out books. But then even higher than that, you can see some students on this balcony, and you're pretty sure they're shouting up to the books, requesting them as they sort of drift out and sort of drift down. Not heavily, not like bang, like just sort of slowly drift down as students take them, not even looking. They sort of pull the books to them.
And Nadi was never seen again. She actually would like just be standing there and like her mouth just open in absolute awe, and her eyes, which are already big to begin with because she's always wide-eyed taking everything in, they almost seem to like increase that much more, where someone might actually be concerned she's like having a stroke or something. But also seeing Paula high up on her ladder, she wouldn't want to do anything that was like startling or surprising, so she would probably just sort of like wait patiently until Paula came down, that type of thing. And Prema would sort of be like moving around, and she'd be like shushing him, like don't make sudden noises, we don't want to startle anyone, especially Paula, she's up there, we better be good. And he'll like sarcastically kind of like shake his head back and like put his hands on his hips for a little bit, but he'll kind of like make it more of like joking around, and then he'll just sort of find like a nice little chair nearby and curl up in that and wait.
Before long, Paula sees everything that happens in her library. Like, you know, she keeps track of everything, so she'll probably notice someone come in, and she sees you. She sees like a silhouette in the distance, but she still has her reading glasses on, so it's like making things blurry. And she's leaning forward, and she's like, "Nadi, is that? Whoa!" And she almost falls over because she's like leaning in further. And
As the ladder goes, it's almost like something stops it from going all the way over as it straightens itself back up, and you just need to lean forward to.
Yes, Paula, hello, it's me, but please don't die.
Oh yeah, I'm trying. And Paula will lift her glasses up and then slide down the ladder with like the grace of a dancer. Like after she just had this very clumsy, awkward moment, she just, you know, snaps into dancer mode and just glides down the rails of the ladder.
That's very impressive trick. You teach that in dance class?
We'll work you up to that. I don't know whether you guys are quite there yet, but it's on the to-do list, that's for sure.
Oh, I like to-do list. That's fun.
Oh, I love to-do lists. To-do lists are my favorite kind of list. Definitely like 10 notches above grocery list. Those are the worst. Those are definitely like the bottom. The bottom on the list of lists, the number one is to-do list, and the last one is grocery lists.
Oh, but I like grocery lists because then you get to go to the grocery store, and as you're at grocery store, you get to speak to people and talk to people and find out what they're making, and you get recipes and you exchange information. It's actually a lot of fun. At least I think it's fun.
Yeah, you do you, Nadi. I mean, but cooking, as you probably noticed this morning, is not my jam. That's for sure.
So I'm guessing you've never made jam then.
No, that I have not made jam, although they have pretty good jam at Brew and Bindings. Oh yeah, no, you should try it sometime.
I'll have to. If you recommend it, I'll definitely try.
So welcome to my home away from home. It's humble, it's small, but that was sarcasm, just to clarify, you never know.
Okay, good, because this is neither humble nor small. This is gorgeous.
I know,
I'd
right?
never leave. I would never leave.
Sometimes I don't want to leave. I spend a lot of time here. But, yeah, no, this place it's really cool. I still can't believe how lucky I am to work here every day. But, you came here looking for something specific. I remember that much.
Yes, folklore.
You were looking for folklore. Now, I know exactly where that is. We're going to have to head up, but I think you'll be satisfied with our collection.
I think you're very right, without even seeing it yet.
And I'll lead Nadi up the necessary staircases.
There's some sort of like wrought iron staircases that spiral upwards to each level. And they're sort of, the wrought iron itself is designed with very much like the ivy and the flowers that decorate the city. And you can walk up to the level you need to walk up to. And the balconies themselves, they're sort of wooden floors, but again, the same metal around the balconies as there is in the staircases.
So, and I'll kind of gesture up to like this wall of books, and I'll be like, this is our folklore section. I'm sure you'll find something you like. Is there a specific type of folklore that you have more interest in? Do you like romance stories, or do you like fables, or
yeah, this as well. Sea monsters, please, if you know of books about sea monsters.
Sea monsters. Ooh, okay. And I'll shout up at the wall. I'll be like, sea monsters.
As you do, you see some of the bookcases move forward and fold within each other so that another set comes forward again, almost like they're stacked all the way back. And this small, almost blue leather, a very dark blue leather-bound book sort of slides out and then slowly drifts all the way down into your open hands, Paula. Almost pocket size. It's very small. It's a very small one, and it looks very well read.
That's a good one.
Nadi is like, go ahead.
Oh, it's been a couple years since I've read that one, but I think you'll enjoy it.
She's actually speechless, which for her is like rare. She's just holding this book like reverently, and like there's like this little gasp that escapes her lips. And actually Prema kind of perks up and looks at her like, you okay?
You're pale.
This is beautiful place you have, Paula. You're very lucky.
I know, but what I'm a little confused about is why why didn't you come here earlier? I mean, we're around and there's a lot of students here that are around your age. I don't know. What was holding you back? This seems right up your alley.
Father didn't want me to come.
You've
He
mentioned
said-
him a couple times.
He said better to focus on keeping feet on ground and being real about life and choices and talents. So better to not go, and he taught me what he knew. But Zia Prim, she taught me things when Papa wasn't looking. But he didn't think I'd be right. He didn't think I'd fit. So I stayed home.
Well, that doesn't seem like a very nice thing to do.
He's just protective.
And she's actually kind of like taking the book and almost like wringing it, but knowing she's not supposed to. So she's kind of tucking it under her arm and just tugging it now.
If this is a sensitive subject, I mean, I'm sorry for bringing it up. I mean, if you want to talk about it, that's okay.
No, it's fine. It's just I'm realizing I missed a lot. And I missed a lot that feels right.
Yeah. That's understandable. But you have your whole life ahead of you to go through all of these books.
You need many lives for this place, but if it's okay, I definitely would like to come a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's totally okay. And maybe if you brought your dad, maybe he'd see that it's pretty cool.
He won't come. He refuses to come here. He will not come.
You said your dad's a sailor, right?
Yes. He's gone more often now that I'm older and he knows I can take care of myself, but he's off right now. He said he'd be back probably in a couple months.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, if he's gone for long periods of time, during that time, you can live your best life, like you're doing right now. There's nothing to hold you back.
It's kind of what I've been hoping to do, especially now that I can get around more and not have to worry about him keeping eye on me too closely.
Well, I really do believe that you'd make a wonderful student at the academy. So that door is always open. In the meantime, the library is all yours. I think that you could really do with a formal education and a teacher, because I've seen how well you respond to getting instructed at dance class. But I could always write a letter of recommendation for your dad if you think that would help. I'm sorry if I'm pushing this too much. I just really care. I just think education is so important and I just want to help.
I appreciate it. No one's really believed in me like this.
Well, I'm sorry. That's really sad. And then I just can't.
She would absolutely hug back. She goes,
He's not a bad man. He's just... something about his past makes him scared for me. But he won't tell me. So he keeps me in a terrarium.
Yeah, that's... I gotta be honest. I'm a little disappointed because hearing about your dad, it sounds like you don't... Is your mom still in the picture?
No, she We lost her when I was little girl. Very little girl.
You know what? Never mind. This is a conversation for another time. Just know, just have it on the radar that my mom, she's out there on the market. You know what? This was so inappropriate. I'm so sorry I brought this up right now.
You mean like give your mother someone to meet and someone to distract my father?
And give your father someone to distract my mother from being alone all the time? Yeah.
That could actually be a lot of fun.
I think so too. Although he kind of is sounding like a jerk now, so I don't know.
It's not that he's a jerk, he just he's afraid of change. Change has kept him timid, and keeping things around him same place keeps us safe.
I guess I get it, but there's probably a better way. We'll have to revisit this. I think we're on to something. And we'll get there. That's for sure. Well, I actually have to get back and keep sorting those books that I was sorting before. In the meantime, you are welcome to read or browse at your leisure. And then afterwards, I was thinking we could hit up the cabaret, mostly because I have to work tonight, but also because I think you'd really enjoy it, and I want to introduce you to my boss because you're a really talented dancer.
That sounds like lots of fun. What's the best chair to read in here?
The best chair to read is actually on the top floor. They moved it up there because it's so old and battered, but that's the reason why it's so comfy. It's been broken in. It's like perfectly molded to caress your butt cheeks. The best chair ever.
Then I go upstairs to chair that holds your butt nicely.
Absolutely. I'll be all the way downstairs, so
okay.
You can just shout if you need me.
I'll let you know I need you. I won't need to shout though. And she'll just start working her way up the stairs.
Yeah, as you get to the final set of spiral staircases, your legs get tired. This is a way up. And almost as if they can tell you're getting tired, on the final spiral staircase, the steps move up on their own. As you sort of go up, and you can look down into this huge library. And you can see Paula cataloguing these books, stopping and chatting to a student every now and then. Where on this top, almost not necessarily a balcony, almost like a platform, sits this very beat up, super cozy armchair. Not high back, but wide enough to fit your whole self on with your knees tucked up, where you can read the book. We'll hop over to Charlie. Charlie, where are you at this point?
There's a couple people that I want to check in with. But I will say, before I even leave the shop, I'm going to keep up that like low profile broadcast thing everywhere I go.
That's fine.
And like before anyone even sees me leave, like Armand doesn't notice me leave. And I'm just not drawing any other attention to myself. I think I stopped by Aggie's place. I think I just more like peeked in the window and like looked around, and it's just like, okay, this place is fine. And not like nothing fell on it, that kind of thing.
As you walk past, you can see these two huge tabby cats like paws at the windows. They look at you, and you can see Aggie in the background. She's baking something. You don't know what it is, but you can smell it, and it smells so good.
Nice.
And these two tabbies sort of like, they're there watching you. Then they've got their paws up as they recognize you. It's almost like they can see you.
Mhm.
Who can't.
I put like like little fingers up and just like on the other side of the window, like, give a little high fives each. And seeing that she's fine, I'm gonna head onward. And honestly, I'm looking for Shayna, who I'm not sure if she would be at this like deli place. She normally is running deliveries, but it is lunchtime, so maybe she would be getting like orders to bring. And yeah.
Yeah, you can sort of, you know it's her, but you can't see her face as she's carrying these crates, sort of, as you see her weave in and out of this shop collecting things, and you can see a bike at the side, and it is full of just ropes and almost like belts and things like that, and you see her stacking them on the back of her bike, and she just sort of waves her hand at it, not casting anything, but the ropes start to tie around the boxes, securing them on. And she looks up and she's like, "Oh, hey! Long time no see."
Yeah, it's been a bit. It's been weird lately.
Yeah, a little bit.
Everything okay on your end?
Yeah, everything's fine. How about you?
I kind of look around. Like, I know it's like midday, so it's not like I'm not going to get a super private conversation, but just like kind of gesture to like follow me around, maybe not a corner, but just like on the other side of the bike in this stack of stuff. And
just nods and weaves around with you. Just like, everything all right? I haven't heard from you in a while. I was worried.
yeah. Do you know if they're still looking?
I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know. I'm kind of trying to keep out the way, you know?
Yeah.
I can't do that thing that you do.
Yeah. I just think I hate to think that this is any of Sai's doing.
Look, they were a pain in the backside, and I know what we know, but they can't have, you know, and she sort of again gestures up to where some of the trams were. They can't have turned, right?
I mean, I don't know what they were planning. There was that big job that just, I mean, I got out before any of that went down, so I just hate to think it's this.
And she sort of not rolls her eyes, just sort of looks to the side. Like, Charlie, you need to stop worrying. I mean, look, I have a regular job now. I deliver food. I get backache from it. But like, look, I mean, you've got a proper job now as well. This is good. I know, I get that you're worried, but I think everything's fine. And she sort of reaches out and like holds your hand, like in a squeezing of reassurance. She's like, I think everything's fine.
Miles is missing.
What? Well, for how long? He probably went back to see your dad's. Miles does that all the time.
It's been 4 months. He's never been away this long. I haven't told them. I keep telling them it's fine, but...
What, they haven't heard from him either?
I haven't asked. I haven't left town. I know it's probably not connected or anything, but just everything's happening like now.
Did Mars say where he was going? What did he say?
He didn't say anything. That's...
What, like literally just left or actually disappeared?
I mean, he brought all his usual stuff with him. I don't... He's done that before, like a week.
Well, yeah, that's what Miles does, but 4 months? Why didn't you tell me sooner?
I'm trying to convince myself that it's nothing, because his rent keeps coming in from somewhere, and his mail keeps coming, and someone was there at some point.
Someone was there? What? Have you been back to the flat?
Yeah, I mean, I've been checking on it just to keep his plants alive and see if he's come back. But there was a coffee mug there. It's not something you could just leave there.
I
It's
mean,
like someone left it there for me to see.
well, they're not careless. And again, she sort of rubs her forehead. I mean, do you want me to come with you next time? 2 sets of eyes, maybe better. Maybe during the day.
Okay, it was evening, but I don't know, I just wanted to make sure you're okay and if you heard anything.
I'm fine, though I'm now slightly worried about you and Miles.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. I just wish you told me sooner. He'll turn up. He's one of those annoying things that keeps turning up when you think you've lost them.
Better.
Maybe talk to your dads. Don't rock up and be like, hey, Miles has been gone for 4 months. How are you? But check in.
Yeah. I still write letters.
Good.
Okay, well, I'll let you do your thing. It looks busy today.
She sort of looks at this stack up of crates. Yeah, I still don't know how I'm gonna cycle that.
How do you balance?
I don't half the time. I'm probably gonna regret that. As she says, sort of looking up at this stack of crates. It's fine, if you lean too far one way, you just lean back the other. Hope. It's fine.
Okay. All right.
And
I hope that works.
She sort of holds her arms out to you. She's like, come on, I haven't seen you in ages.
Definitely. Big hug.
Yeah.
Maybe stay away from the trams a bit. I know Alice Rose.
Yeah, I saw her camera slowing down. I think she'll be right back. Stand by. 3, 2, 1.
Just had a long hug.
Actually,
Still
real quick,
hugging.
what was her name? What's her name that you're talking to?
Shayna.
Shayna, thank you.
Still hugging.
At the shop, at the sandwich shop. It's sandwich shop, right?
Yeah.
Still hugging.
Ooh, no,
Oh,
that's
no.
rough.
No,
Oh, no.
that's oops.
Whoops.
So, you know, we haven't.
Oh no.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
So we haven't had our gush about Alice again.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that
perfect
library.
That library and
That
I mean, is anyone else seeing like the? Is anyone else
That's
seeing
your
like?
home.
I know, right? Is anyone else seeing like the French Quarter but books?
yes.
Yes.
Oh my God, yes. And
Ah.
it's like Harry Potter meets Narlands. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Oh, it's so cool.
I
Oh my
just
gosh.
like I want to touch it. Like, it's just-
Oh my gosh! And okay, Aggie.
we need an Aggie. We all need. Oh my God.
I think everybody needs an Aggie.
Yes.
Give us Aggie.
Oh
So
yeah, no, just
Yes.
just
It's just-
so.
Oh my God.
Every
just
little
Colin's
layer, every
backstory,
little
though.
piece,
what a
and it
gem.
just builds on top of it. And I just Impala is just like the best friend that everyone needs in their life.
Right? Yeah.
Like the encouraging person.
Can we just like acknowledge how shady Talon is though? And like
What are you talking about? Let's talk about how nice all of you are.
like
What
is
is like, nope, we're not going to.
like
Sit here and have my tea.
It's fine.
like suddenly getting the feeling that like Talon's the reason
Fancy
for
magic.
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I was sure that I was going to be like that it was going to be all about me, but now I'm like, what is Charlie got going on here?
Yeah. And the missing brother.
And
That's
missing Miles.
Ooh,
Mm.
very intriguing. Super
I
intriguing.
specifically left like so many things open-ended for Alice to just pick up.
Okay,
She's totally gonna.
Run with it.
I am so worried about. I mean, I'm like, okay. I was like, okay, this is going to be all about her making me miserable, and then I'm realizing, no, she's got something for everybody. It's like,
Mhm.
what little things did we put in our backstory that now are just
Yeah.
going to be like,
So excited to see it come
How
together.
will Felonious torment us next? We'll find out. You know?
He took our breakfast twice. What will he do next?
yes.
Will Felonious and Clyde get into a fight?
Oh,
Who knows?
Could you
Find
imagine?
out next time.
Oh God, though.
Oh,
my
yeah, and then like the creepy priest dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I hope he does
Oh
not find me.
God.
'Cause I'm just
I'm
gonna
like,
run.
oh, this is not going to be fun when he starts questioning the rest of us. Naughty's going to be like, yeah.
Yeah, Deacon Marks.
Not a fan.
Deacon
Apparently-
Marks.
Excited to just,
I
like,
might. Deacon Marks might be from my backstory.
That's what I'm like.
I
Oh,
love that.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah, it's like,
About it.
wow, really? Already? Okay.
It's like, and that one's there now. Great.
Deacon Marks. Yeah, that's. Oh, that's gonna be a thing. That's gonna be a thing.
Oh God, now I'm worried about the one that I gave her. I'm like, oh,
I know, right? Now it's like, yeah, okay. The rest of y'all can start because I was just like, say, there's this guy from the church, and he's just kind of a
Hates me.
dick. And now it's like, oh my God, Deacon Marks.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
this is gonna be very actually.
my workplace.
Oh, and that's like the worst.
I
Because
know.
let's face it, your workplace is like,
it's like the worst nightmare, like having people in places you don't want them to be.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
Like-
and like he, not liking you can tell he doesn't like magic people either, and it's like it's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the things. All the things. But oh my gosh. I was posting in Twitter earlier. It's like I have never felt like more special or more like that my character's story is in such wonderful hands.
Oh yeah.
as I feel about this campaign right now. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
just like every little, I mean, literally, it's like every word of everything I put into my backstory and sent is like weaving into this.
Mm-hmm.
No.
We can't say
It's
we
not
without the
we.
finger sign.
But still weave.
But it's like what she does.
Yeah.
It's like it like, and here she comes.
There she is.
Also, quick
Hello,
clarification
Zoe.
before we jump back into it. I know a lot of people were confused. Felonius is not a soul familiar. He is just
He's a kid.
he's just a cat.
Okay, sorry about that. Good.
No worry.
Oh no, don't stress at all. We covered for you. So now on Friday you can hear us gush all about you again.
Again.
Yep.
Keeps happening whilst I'm away.
So they were left in a hug.
Yes.
A real long hug.
Are we back? I can see we're live.
I think so.
Yeah, I think we're back.
We're back. Okay, I'm just checking. Okay, you had a hug. Yeah, you had a hug, and she sort of, you can see her sort of get on her bike and start going, as you see her sort of wobble a couple of times as she sort of starts to set off, but in a steady pace
Okay.
starts to go. And could you all roll me an intellect check, please?
Oh golly.
Just
We thought we were going to get off easy.
Just straight up intellect.
That's 10 for Tolan.
That's good.
Ooh, that 20 for B. Woohoo!
Mm.
Up in that chair.
Have we got one for Paula yet, or is my roll 20 being?
Paula, intellect check.
Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
I was distracted. Bad girl. All right. Did it? Oh no, I didn't go yet. There we go.
Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
17.
Nice.
Okay, so
Something around the library.
as you, so Nadie and Paula, the evening sets in, and after a while you realize it's that time again. It's that time in the evening where you've got to go, and you're going to be going to the cabaret this evening. So you clock off, not early, but very eagerly as you leave and head down those marble staircases again. That same sort of golden sort of glow coming in through the doors as the students leave for the day. And Charlie, you wave off to your friend, and you sort of see that sort of wave behind there, though she daren't look back in case you lose balance. And Tolan, you look over at Averick, and he's like, he seems to be looking out the window. And he's like, "Hey, Tolan, come here."
I go over.
And as you do,
Oh no.
you look up at the sky. Charlie, you look up at the sky. And Nadie and Paula, you get drawn to look up. It is getting dark, but it's that sort of golden hour just before everything falls into darkness. You can see some of the fireflies starting to light up. Some of the flowers start to even open and glow themselves. And you seem to be the only ones to have noticed this. As you all look up into the sky, and there's this strange shimmer. Almost like petrol floating on water. Colours dancing about in the sky. And the people around you are walking around, haven't really noticed. It doesn't make a sound. It's not casting any light down on anyone, but it's tiny. And it moves just slightly. And Nadie and Paula, on those nat 20s, you can see that it's growing as it stretches, not quickly, but something up in the sky. And that's where we'll leave Doors of Dunera this week, even though I'm back for like 30 seconds. But that is where we will leave it this week. So, that lore! Thank you everyone for bearing with us, and my computer decided to give out. We will be heading over to the Discord just for a chat, maybe discuss our favorite bits. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us, and we will be back again next Monday for more Doors of Dunera. So keep evoking emotions, and we'll see you later. Bye.
You guys do the best hearts. I have the worst hearts. I hand hearts are
Oh,
terrible.
my heart.